What if I told you some of the best places to live in the United States aren't the cities with their billion-dollar skylines, overpriced brunch spots, and homeless camps on every corner? No, it's the small towns, places where the livability scores are higher than most big cities. The crime rates don't look like a Batman origin story, and you might still be able to buy a house without selling your grandma's house and moving her into a low-budget home. Today we're looking at 10 small towns outside major metro areas with a livability score of at least 80. That means these places do pretty well when it comes to things like safety, housing, schools, jobs, healthcare, and overall quality of life. Now don't get too excited. A high livability score doesn't mean these towns are perfect. Some of these places are expensive and some are remote. But if you're tired of giant cities, this video is what you've been looking for. Let's take a look. Number 10, Astoria, Oregon. Not too far from where I live right now, you have Astoria. Astoria is what happens when a fog machine, a fishing town, and a history teacher all move to the Oregon coast and decide rent should still be annoying enough to keep things interesting. This is a remote-ish coastal town at the mouth of the Columbia River with a high enough quality of life score to qualify and enough personality for a whole video segment. Now, if you've never heard of Astoria, this is actually a really cute town. We go up there occasionally, and it's where you'll find the Goonies house. Yes, Goonies was filmed all around Astoria, Oregon, and they just opened up the Goonies house to the public. They redid it and everything.
This is Briggs, the Goonie house, and live a little.
It's a very cute little town. When we go, we like to stay at the Cannery Pier Hotel and Spa. It's a nice place. It's right above the water. It's like on a pier. Now, Goonies wasn't the only movie filmed here. They also did Short Circuit. That was a 1980s movie too. Goonies was filmed in 1985 and Short Circuit was filmed in 1986. It's almost like the production company said, you know what, since we got all this equipment here, why don't we do another movie? But Astoria is a nice place to live and definitely a fun place to visit for the weekend. Their livability score is 83, and that's because they don't have a lot of traffic, they got plenty of stuff to do, they've got good hospitals and doctors there, and housing is reasonable. For a coastal town, I should say. Is it reasonable compared to Mississippi? Absolutely not. As an example, the average home value in Astoria is $480,000. That's about $20,000 less than the Oregon average, and just about $100,000 more than the national average. But they have a population of 10,000 residents, and their livability score is 83. Number 9, Montpelier, Vermont. Montpelier is the smallest state capital in the US, which means it has government buildings, old New England charm, and just enough people to form a traffic jam if two Subarus hesitate at the same stop sign. It is very much a tiny state capital that's very much Vermont, meaning the government buildings, old houses, and enough maple-adjacent energy to power those two Subarus. The neat thing I like about Montpelier is it's all mom and pop shops. They don't have a bunch of fast food places and things like that. It is a quiet state capital. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful place to visit. Not a lot going on there, but it's a beautiful place to visit. They have a population of about 7,614 residents with the average home value about $425,000 and their livability score 84. The reason they got that high of a score, cost of living is decent, it's not horrible, their crime is low, their employment is great, their housing is outstanding, they have hospitals and doctors, all you need, and they have extremely good schools. Number 8, Jacksonville, Oregon. Jacksonville is one of those towns where everything looks charming, historic, and peaceful right up until you check the home prices and realize that the Victorian porch comes with a financial jump scare. This historic small town near southern Oregon's wine country gets solid scores across the board. It has strong marks in crime, employment, housing, and health and safety. The cost of living is a little rough here, but you get what you pay for. This has a cute downtown. Their main street is pretty cool. They've got old buildings that are well maintained, and if you like wine, this is a great place to live or do a weekend trip. It's just that it costs a ton to live there. And like the old saying goes, you get what you paid for. You're going to hear that a lot in this video. Jacksonville only has about 2,946 residents. Their average home value is $607,000. That's as of June 2026. And their livability score is 85. And I should probably tell you this, anything over 75 is excellent. When you start getting into the 80s, you are doing outstanding. And 85 is amazing. Number 7, Waverly, Iowa. Yep, going out to the Midwest. Waverly is just north of Cedar Falls and Waterloo, Iowa, sort of in the northeast corner. And like every place in Iowa, it's nice, but it's going to be a little boring. But as we all know, as you get a little older, boring is what you're looking for. Now, one thing I really like about Waverly is it's only 2 hours away from the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. And if you're someone that has some kind of medical condition that you need to be somewhat near someplace like that, it's an added bonus. If If you look at all their statistics, everything is an A, except for employment, which is a B+. Cost of living, crime, housing, health and safety, schools, all A or A+. This is just a quiet Iowa river town with a strong small town reputation and a solid score. Waverly has a population of 10,459, and their average home value is $279,000. That is well below the national average, so good job for them. Their livability score is 86. Number 6, Moscow, Idaho. Moscow, Idaho is a college town surrounded by farm country, which means you get book-smart energy, outdoor access, and enough wheat fields to make you question whether you're in Idaho or actually in Kansas. This is a standalone college town in northern Idaho, far from any big metro sprawl that they might have in Boise or something. Been to Moscow a few times. I like it. I have a really good friend who lives up there, and I might as well mention it because if not, someone's gonna mention it. There was a horrible murder there of 4 college students back in 2022 or 2023. That does not reflect on the whole town. The whole town is a wonderful place. What happened with them is tragic and sad, but it's not the whole town. It's one nut job. Everything on here but unemployment is A or A+. Good schools, good healthcare, decent housing. Crime is next to nothing, even though they had that tragic thing. Cost of living's decent, commute, and amenities. Plenty of things to do there. The downside is, and it's a college town, so certain parts of the year they have a lot of seasonal work, and that usually brings down the income per capita in a town, and this is no exception. It's actually 18% below the national average. They have a population of 26,621 residents, and their average home value, it's a little up there. It's $479,000. Not great, but this is a great place to live. They have a livability score of 87. Number 5, Frankenmuth, Michigan. Frankenmuth is basically what happens when a small Michigan town got really into Bavaria and refused to break character. Somehow the result is clean, safe, popular, and aggressively charming. This is one of those towns you find sprinkled across the United States that have held on to like a Bavarian or a German Alps type vibe. Solvang in California, Leavenworth in Washington. There's a few other, and of course, Frankenmuth. This is a tiny Michigan tourist town with Bavarian branding turned all the way up to get out your lederhosen. If you're looking for it on a map, it's in the eastern half of the Lower Peninsula, just southeast of Saginaw and about 80 miles north of Ann Arbor. This is one of those places that blows up like during Oktoberfest and during the summer when people go to visit. They have a population of less than 6,000 residents, but that quadruples when the tourists show up during the summer. It is a cute town with wonderful stats. Even their real estate is affordable. Everything but amenities is an A or A+, B for amenities, which I don't understand why they gave them a B for amenities. They got plenty to do, including the Bavarian Blast Water Park. It's one of those places like the Great Wolf Lodge where you can go there and stay and go to the water park and all that. If you decide you're in love with this place, which it looks like it's pretty easy to do, the average home value here is only $323,000. Well, almost $324,000, and their livability score is 87. Sure, they got winters that are pretty harsh around this area, but I think that's why, it's got such a low population. Number 4, Brunswick, Maine. Brunswick is a Maine college town with coastal charm, old money energy, and the kind of peaceful streets that make you wonder what terrible secrets they're hiding behind all those pretty houses. Brunswick is just north of Portland. This town has a history of fishing, lumber, and it's got a naval air station. LL Bean and Bath Iron Works are their biggest employers. For a nice Maine coastal town with excellent stats, this place is affordable. Now, they have a population of about 16,566, which is under 20,000, which still makes it a small town. And their average home value here is $495,000. That is not bad, especially when you factor in its coastal town with a livability score of 89. Number 3, Pella, Iowa. We talked about Pella just recently. This is another one of those towns, like we said earlier, that we have sprinkled across the United States. But this one didn't go Bavaria, they went Dutch, including windmills. Pella was founded by immigrants from the Netherlands, and it sits about 40 miles southeast of Des Moines. Every statistics but amenities gets an A+. Really, amenities, B. Cost of living, A+, crime, A+, employment, A+, housing, A+, health and safety, A+, schools, A+. Statistically, this town is near perfect. Like every Midwestern town, they've gotta have some festivals every single year. And Pella has the annual Tulip Time Festival. It's a celebration of Pella's Dutch heritage, and it features tulip gardens, performances, crafters, music, food, and Dutch costumes. Of course, a daily parade. Can't forget the daily parade. Pella isn't that populated. It's only got a population of 10,526, and the average home value here isn't terrible. It's $359,000. And their livability score, 90. That is outstanding. Number 2, Marquette, Michigan. Marquette is sitting way up in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, where Lake Superior handles the scenery, winter handles the attitude adjustment, and locals act like needing 4 jackets is just basic adulthood. Someone recently tried to tell me that's where Marquette University is. They are wrong. It's actually in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Marquette is one of those towns where if you could handle the cold like 6 months out of the year, it's a great place to live. This is not for people that are hoping for sunshine 9 months a year. Don't plan on golfing in December in Marquette. Now the stats here are going to kind of blow you away. They do have an F, but everything else is A or A+. Their F is employment. And that's because the jobs they have don't really pay much, I guess. They got a lot of lower end jobs here. Their income per capita is 13% below the national average, but their employment rate is below the national average, 8% to be exact. So that tells me that they've got a lot of jobs, they're just not well-paying jobs. Everything else is excellent. This is located right on the shores of Lake Superior, and Marquette is a major port known primarily for shipping iron ore from the Marquette Iron Range. It doesn't fall under the 20,000 small town, but it isn't that big. Their population is only 21,369 residents. And all those good stats we talked about earlier, that gives them a livability score of 91. That is not bad, and especially when you consider you can get a house there for $338,000. That's the average home value. All right, before we get to number 1, if you're thinking about moving to any place in the United States, there's a link for Home and Money in the description area below. They can get you in touch with a real estate agent anywhere in the country. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, Traverse City, Michigan. This place deserves to be number 1, and Michigan's doing pretty good with 3 on this list. I think a lot of places get overlooked in Michigan because of Flint and Detroit, and you just have to remember the entire state is not those 2 cities, which have had serious problems in the past. Detroit's turning the corner right now as we speak, and I think people are starting to realize that, you know, not every place is Detroit in Michigan. Traverse City definitely isn't one of them. This is the kind of small town people discover once, fall in love with it, and then immediately help make it more expensive for everyone else by paying big money for a house. It's beautiful, highly rated, and dangerously close to becoming a Zillow heartbreak factory. You go there, you visit it, you decide you're in love with it, you talk the wife into buying a house in Traverse City, you get on Zillow and start looking around, and then you're going, oh, maybe we won't. Now, I really like this town. It's right there on Lake Michigan. It has a few golf courses around. You got a small municipal airport so you could fly in there. And during the winter, they got all kinds of winter stuff to do, including skiing. Yes, you got Holiday Hills on the east side of town, and then Hickory Hills ski area on the west side of town. If you want to move here and you don't mind that winter, it's a pretty good option. They only have about 16,116 people that live there permanently. During the summer months that kind of balloons up, but you know, all year round it's about 16,000. The average home value there is about $446,000. Now, majority of the homes in town that aren't like condos or anything like that are gonna go for about $450,000. But the further you get away from the water, obviously it's gonna get cheaper, and you're gonna start finding decent homes that are like $275,000. Of course, some are $4 million, $3 million, and on up. Now, besides the lake, statistically, this is where Traverse City shines. Everything is an A or an A+, except for cost of living. It's a B+. That's not terrible. It's only 10% higher than the national average, and housing is 39% higher. For a very safe lakefront town, that is not bad. Their livability score is 91. All right, that's today's video. If you love that one, I know you're gonna love this one. It's about moving to the Deep South. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.